Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel, and this week I am answering your questions. Yes, I don't often do sit down videos where I'm just talking to you guys, so I'm a little nervous and a little out of my element, but I think this will be fun, and this is just a bonus video in between my bi-weekly project videos, so if you're not into Q&As, no hard feelings, it's okay. I will be back next week with a normal project video, but if you do want to get to know me, get my thoughts on previous projects, future projects, advice for new DIYers, sit back, relax, maybe grab a cup of coffee, you know I have one, and let's do this thing. Okay, so before I get started, I just want to say the reason I am doing this is because I recently hit 10,000 subscribers, and I just wanted to thank you guys first for subscribing. All of your comments are so encouraging all of the time. They really keep me motivated to keep doing what I'm doing and making these videos. And a few weeks ago, I posted on my community tab and also on my Instagram, letting you guys know that I was going to be doing my first Q&A. I took all those questions, put them into a document, tried to put them into categories so that we're a little bit organized around here. So the first category up that I am starting with is advice, inspiration, style. The first question is favorite tools. Hard pick because I love them all. They're all my babies, just love them. But if I had to choose a few tools that are really helpful, I would have to say my multi-tool and my impact driver. Yeah, those tools are very helpful. A multi-tool is a tool that has a blade coming straight out, it vibrates, it cuts through wood, it cuts through metal, and yeah, it's just a very, very helpful tool. And an impact driver is like a drill, but it is stronger than a drill, so you're less likely to strip a screw when using an impact driver, and again, it's just more powerful than a drill, so it's very helpful. Best advice for someone just starting out doing DIYs. I feel like I'm gonna say something real cliche. Start slow, start small, don't give up on yourself. The small projects are very helpful and useful and are your foundation to get you to the bigger projects. So just keep going and keep practicing. If you just keep practicing a little at a time, you will be shocked at where you are a year from now. This next question is a darn good question. And when I read it for the first time, I was like, dang. That's a good question. I have no idea. So I really had to analyze my process for this. What is your greatest source of inspiration? Is it more creating an expensive look for less, repurposing unique or unconventional items, inventions born out of necessity? All of these contribute into why I do my projects, but I would have to say creating an expensive look for less. I mean, sometimes I'm specifically duping a more expensive piece of furniture, but also my other projects are to create a custom curated look for my house that looks expensive. Are you like me and fall asleep each night redesigning someone's space that has so much more potential? Are you in my head? You need to get out of my head. I am constantly redesigning people's houses in my head. I never say anything because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but yes, if I'm at a family or friend's house and I'm sitting back, yeah, I'm most likely arranging furniture in my head. Okay, define your style. Okay, 3 styles come to mind: eclectic, vintage, and industrial. I picture eclectic being a little bit more colorful than what I go for, but just because I pull things from all different time periods, different looks, different styles, and put it all together is kind of where I get the eclectic vibe. Industrial is kind of where I get the colors and tones and textures that I like to use. And then vintage. Of course, that's just anything vintage, which most of the stuff in my house is vintage. Eclectic, vintage, industrial. It's not a style, but I'm making it a style. What is a style you don't like? Y'all are trying to get me in trouble. I don't really ever like to voice, I mean, sometimes I'll joke about things I don't like, but I never want to like come in strong with like things I don't like, because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. So I will say, if I mention something you have and that you like, keep liking it. If you like it, that is all that matters, truly. This is just my personal opinion on these styles. So first style, let's all say it together, farmhouse. And I am not talking about authentic farmhouse where it's like an actual farmhouse that's like oozing with character. I am talking about suburban farmhouse where you know it, you went to Hobby Lobby, you got a sign that says kitchen and you put it in your kitchen, you got a sign that says laundry and you put it above that laundry. You have a sign in your living room that says take your shoes off. Stay a while. You've got that subway tile, you've got that shiplap, you know who you are. Stupid. And then the other style I don't like is a type of house, but then with this house comes in a type of interior design that is just weird and fascinating to me. And I am talking about the 90s, early 2000s McMansions. And let me tell you what a McMansion is and why they are just a beautiful, chaotic mess. McMansions came out of the housing boom of the 90s, early 2000s, and it was a time of excess. It was a time of quantity over quality. McMansions are usually designed by one of two people. The owner of a construction company or the person that's going to live in the house. There's usually lots of peaks on the outside of the house. There's also usually pillars on the outside of the house. And they'll kind of combine all these styles of like, there's a little bit of Greek influence, there's a little bit of like Tuscan village influence, and then they'll throw some like weird modern elements throughout the house. There's no cohesive feel to it, and it's fascinating, and I could do a whole video about McMansions. So, yeah, those are the two styles I don't like. What is your dream house? A converted church. I would absolutely jump at the opportunity to take an old church and turn it into a house. When did you start DIYing and who inspired you? I've kind of been making things my whole life, so I don't know if there's like a specific start time, so I don't know. I will just say like my whole life. As far as who inspired you, the kind of like clothing, hair, and makeup side of me is inspired by my mom. My mom loves fashion. She's always like the most put together, dressed up person in the room. The more like interior design, projects, building, renovation side of me is my dad and stepmom. They have been flipping houses like my entire life. Not in a normal sense where they're buying up other properties they're not living in, but what we would do is move into a house, fix it up while living in it, and then sell it and move on to the next project. And they're still doing that. Final question for this section is, I don't know what kind of paint to use on wood. Where I live, there are two kinds of paint, oil and water-based, both peel with time. I use both oil and water-based. Enamel is oil-based, acrylic latex is water-based. So if it's peeling, I would say don't focus on the paint, but focus on maybe the prep and finish. Sand the piece down, get a good adhesive primer, and then use a good top coat. I like polyacrylic just because it's very easy to use, it dries quickly. So yeah, I would say try to focus on the prep and finish, and hopefully that'll help with the peeling issue. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to project-related questions. Favorite piece of furniture that I have flipped? Gotta say my coffee bar. I love my coffee bar. I use it every day. I look at it every day, and I'm still in love with it. It's got a little vintage touch to it. It's got a little bit of an industrial vibe to it, and it's black. So yeah, I would say my coffee bar. Favorite DIY. So for DIYs, I think of specific projects and not necessarily room makeovers. I'm going to say my ottoman. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. And I think the sign of a good DIY is if it doesn't look like a DIY, and that ottoman doesn't look like a DIY to me. What's your next project? Well, my next video that you guys can see next week, I am going to be making a little cube ottoman, and it's gonna be a no-sew project. What is the project you are most proud of? I have to say my mom's bedroom makeover. Not only am I super proud of how the room actually turned out and the overall design, I'm really proud of the overall production of those videos. I tried to step up with my filming, with my editing, and even just like having to figure out how to film her reaction. I didn't have somebody that could be there to like hold a camera, so I had to figure out how to get that reaction. Luckily, I have 2 cameras, so I could get 2 different angles, and I really tried to go for like a TV quality video. Obviously, it's not like actual TV quality, but I tried my best. What has been your favorite project so far? I'd have to say my brother's kitchen renovation, just for the fact that I learned so freaking much. I learned so much. There is something very valuable about ripping a room apart and then putting it back together. My brother and I both learned just so much, even though my brother and I definitely butted heads because, well, he's my big brother. What is your favorite type of project? Is it building, decorating, reupholstering, etc.? I would have to say my favorite type of project is projects that require 2 skills. For example, my ottoman. I had to design it out. I had to build the inner part of it, and then I had to sew and upholster it. I like projects that I kind of get to do a little bit of everything that I like to do. How do you have the energy to finish these projects without getting overwhelmed? Well, my energy comes from coffee. And as far as feeling overwhelmed, I must hide it well because I get very, very, very overwhelmed. I am just one person tackling all of these projects, usually by myself. My husband jumps in when he can, but I think what keeps me going is the fact that I get to share these projects with you guys. And also, if I'm feeling very overwhelmed, I just leave. I get out of the house. I'll go to like a local antique shop and walk around and just give myself a break. Do you consider doing makeovers for other than just your family? I would love to do makeovers for other people, maybe some of you guys, maybe some friends. I would like to be at a place where I get to pay for the makeover, or I do like a sponsored makeover, because I think I've seen some other DIY YouTubers do that. I'm just not at that place yet, but yeah, that is like definitely a dream and goal of mine. Okay, now we get to get personal. Personal. What was that? Okay. These first few questions I feel like I can answer real quick. When is your birthday? September 17th is like the 5th most common birthday in like the world or something like that. Is Elaine really your middle name? Yes. How do you do it all? Coffee. Next question. Don't get why somebody would ask it, but I'll read it and then explain why I don't get why somebody would ask it. Do you plan on having children? If so, how many? Are you more of a boy type or a girl type? Guys, I have children.
This is not just a dog. This is my son. I literally gave birth to him. No epidural.
One's white and fluffy, one's black and sleek. Their names are Bonnie and Clyde. I have kids, don't really plan on adding any more children to the mix. Okay, let's move on. Why did you start a YouTube channel? A lot of different reasons. First and foremost, I hope that my videos entertain you. I hope they inspire you to tackle your own projects. But the reason I started a YouTube channel was my husband definitely pushed me and encouraged me to start it because he saw me doing all these projects and was like, you should share those online. But beyond that, I clearly like to do a lot of things. I'm happiest when I get to kind of jump around and do a little bit of everything. So I saw YouTube as a way to take everything I love and turn it into a job. It is not my job yet. Hopefully one day it will be. Why did you leave film and television? Would you like the long answer or would you like the short answer? Short answer, it sucked. I hated my life. Long answer could be very long, but I'll sum it up to it just wasn't a good fit. And it's just not as creative as you think it's gonna be. How long have you been doing hair and makeup? My entire life, but I booked my first job when I was 17. It was a wedding. Why somebody trusted a 17-year-old still in high school to do their hair and makeup for their wedding, I'm not sure, but looking back, I did a good job and still doing it today. So yeah, 12 years. Do you get sad working alone? Yes, I do. I am very much an extrovert. I love people. I love being around people. I get my energy from people. So yeah, I definitely miss that. Even though I like to do a little bit of everything to make my videos, I still miss a lot of the collaborative side of theater. I'm hoping one day I can bring somebody on to collaborate with, like an editor or something like that. How did you and Jordan meet? If you're new, Jordan's my husband. We met in college. We didn't start dating in college because I was very career focused. I didn't want to date. I just wanted to make it to Broadway. And then I made it to Broadway and I was like, hard pass. So we lost touch for 2.5 years and then he texted me out of the blue and the rest is history. How long have you been married? 3.5 years. Best 3.5 years of my life. I don't know if we're still in the honeymoon phase. I feel like we're not, but yeah, he makes life so much easier. He's dope. He's my best friend. We make a real good team. Do you miss New York? Aspects of New York? I don't miss not being able to afford much, but I do miss the food. Oh my gosh, restaurant week, miss restaurant week. My workout classes, I used to do such fun workouts. I miss them so much. And the thing I miss most, my sister. She lives up in Jersey City. She works in Manhattan and we used to hang out a lot. So, and she's like my best friend. I miss her. Oh, I got something in my eye. Oh, ow. Do you miss Wisconsin? Yes, I do. If you're new to my channel, I'm originally from Wisconsin. I haven't lived there in 10 years. I left when I was 18 to go to college. Never looked back, but yes, Wisconsin is still home. I miss my friends, I miss my family. Yes, definitely miss Wisconsin. And the last question for this category is, where did you learn to do everything you do? Well, without going into my entire life story, let's do a brief breakdown of like the main categories. Drawing and painting, I have been doing art my entire life, but my training, I guess, would say like high school. Sewing, mainly college. Costume design background. I worked in the costume shop at my college for the 4 years, making costumes, designing costumes, getting to make my own designs. Hair and makeup, kind of self-taught, but at the same time also goes back to my theater background. For a few summers in college, I worked at a professional theater in Massachusetts. I was a wig master and worked under some wig designers that taught me a lot about wigs. And same thing about makeup. I worked under some makeup artists that taught me a lot about makeup. And then building, also theater. I was the cool kid in high school and president of my drama club. Yeah, cool kid. So because I was president, I had to help with all aspects of the production, which means I had to help build the sets. So that's where I got comfortable building and working with power tools. And I think that's everything. So editing, self-taught. Holy crap, I feel like I have been talking for forever. Thank you to everyone who submitted questions. I hope you had fun getting to know me, getting to hear my thoughts on previous projects. I hope some of my advice was a little helpful. And if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.